Hey, what's going on, everybody? Boilon here, and I hope that you all had a great weekend. We're here on Monday now to talk about the next upcoming event. Normally, I don't cover this in its own separate video, but I thought it was prudent to do so because we're going to be talking about all of the changes to the upcoming coordinated assault and the way that it's changed, and in my opinion, changed for the worse. Now, there are some different additions in this event as far as the rewards go, but when it comes to the blue ISO 4, this is on the decline. And, you know, at least we've gone to only having this once a month because it used to be twice a month. But I actually preferred the previous versions of Coordinated Assault because it was a way for us to get, you know, consistent blue ISO 4 on a regular basis twice a month. Now, I know that some people aren't that concerned with ISO 4 anymore, but there's still a lot of that you need. And, you know, the more that we can start to experiment with other ISO classes as well. Can't do that if we don't have any ISO 4s, so we'll learn all about that and more, and all the nuances in this event right now. So if you're ready to go, let's boil this down. Now, of course, we need to go back to the blog post from Friday a little bit to talk about this and the expectations. So what's been added to this is the Allied Orb Fragment. And those Allied Orb Fragments, or the orb itself, as you remember from my Friday video when I pulled the Apocalypse Bounty Orb, that's something that's changed, right? So we're going to be getting some allied supply orbs during this coordinated assault, and then we're going to be, I guess, you know, with some luck, you know, you're going to get some fragments for the bounty orb, and you know, then you might get lucky. You know, if you remember my video, for those of you who watched my blog post video on Friday, you know, I did pull one of these and I got 1.5 million blue 5 ions. So it wasn't 4, but it was a lot of blue 5 ions, and it was just sheer RNG luck that I just managed to get that. So I think the trade-off here is that, yes, we might get a couple of these in exchange for less blue 4 ions for, I guess, a more RNG at a chance of getting one of these to get more ions. Like, maybe it evens out. I'm honestly not going to sit here and do the math. And may, you know, who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the adding these means that inevitably you're going to get more ions because of this. That's possible. But it's just a weird thing for them to do for something that they've been doing for so long, and they just decided up and change the way that it works. It's also a lot harder to clear. So the part with the Gems of Sidorak is not that going to be hard to do. You know, it's going to be reasonably easy to finish with, you know, alliances that can do this kind of stuff. It's just the stuff afterwards. You know, I'm going to call these the Whalestones. It's going to be tough. You might get this first one, which will give you 2 Apocalypse Bounty Orbs, but the ones after that, 19 and 20, because my head's blocking the way, the 600k and 820k here, this is not reasonably obtainable, and we're going to go over that math as well. The difference is, how do you get the points? Well, it's 2 points per ISO 8 campaign energy, and then you get points for earning allied supply orb fragments, which is down here, 1-to-1. How do you get those? Well, it tells you right now, because you're going to be doing the Valhalla. They can be found in a login calendar. So this we don't have the information for. It is an alliance-based event. So unless this is super generous, and we're going to go over the math and how that might impact things, what we do know is the Valhalla Vanguard web milestone. I do want to make clear that this web milestone actually is for 2 events. It's for Coordinated Assault and for the Bounty of Asgard a little bit. And the problem is that this one doesn't start until 1 day after Coordinated Assault. So Coordinated Assault is a 5-day event. However, the first day, Valhalla web whatever is not going to be active. It's because this goes active on the July 18th, which is going to be on Tuesday. But the web milestone doesn't get active until Wednesday. So keep in mind that we're only actually getting 4 days worth of the web milestone towards this event. That's all in the math as well. You can find that down in the rest of the blog down here. The Valhalla Vanguard web milestone, which starts on July the 19th. You get the apples, which is for the Bounty of Asgard, which we'll be talking about tomorrow in a separate video. And then you get allied supply orb fragments here. Just because it starts a day late, that means you're only going to be getting 4 days worth of this fragments towards the coordinated assault. So let's jump on over to the math. I think that's probably the most important. And also where we're at for the month of July. I went a bit too far. That's Bounty of Asgard. We'll be looking at that tomorrow. I didn't pre-prep my position on my spreadsheet here. And so let's go over and do the recap really quick. So this is kind of where we will be at once we do this week's stuff. So this is basically where we're at as far as the subtotals go for the month of July. right? So we have Coordinated Assault that's here. That's going to be worth 26,000 Gems of Sidorak. That's going to be fairly easy to get. I don't think that's going to be a challenge. It's the rest of the stuff afterwards. Then we have Bounty of Asgard next week. Or sorry, tomorrow. We're going to be talking about the event video tomorrow. But anyways, it's worth about 45,000. And then coming soon, which will be in about a week's time, we have the Voyage of Scuttlebutt for Beta Ray Bill and Realm Raiders the week after that. Anyways, the current subtotal for the information that we do know now is 561k, but we do remember it's not 750k anymore. It's actually a total of 800k. So whether or not we end up getting there, this is the first time. I think they haven't changed from the 750 in a little while, so this is going to be the first time at the new 800k total. And whether or not that's actually going to be free to play accessible or not, we'll have to soon see. You know, whether or not you actually did the Second Sun web milestone, which is also ongoing right now. It's 9 days of 2,225 gems for spending power cores. Sometimes I'm doing this, sometimes I'm not. And so we'll see whether or not that highly impacts the ability to clear the 800k or not. We won't know until later on, though. So July events. This is a Coordinated Assault. Let's zoom in further because we got space. So, spend ISO 8 energy and earn allied supply orb fragments. Keep in mind, it is an alliance event. So this is a huge thing in Marvel Strike Force, is making sure that you have maximized your 24 members in your alliance, and make sure you have as many people as possible that are active, because it's going to make a huge difference. The total milestone points required for this event is 800,000. These are absolutely whale stones, but let's see what we can get. So there is a total of 285,000 blue 4 ions in here. Okay, but you're not going to really get that. I mean, you can see it down here when we do zoom in a little bit more, that you get 60,000, 75,000, and 150,000 at the 3 different milestone points. It's probably likely that you could probably get to this first one, but after that, it's not really. So wrong screen. Most of us are probably only going to get 60k. Most of us 60k. Total Apocalypse Bounty or fragments, 12 orbs, but again, this probably isn't likely. We're probably just getting 2 orbs. Most of us, 2 orbs. Now, from the web milestone, you get 8,000 total allied orb fragments. This is because it starts a day after Coordinated Assault, like I said in the beginning. And so that's 4 days worth of this towards Coordinated Assault. You will get an extra orb, of course, because the web milestone itself lasts for 5 days, but it's not going to kind of double dip with Coordinated Assault for all 5 of those days. But you will still get to open that later on for chances at the Apocalypse Bounty Orb. So over the course of your 24 members, though, this 8,000 points is individual because you're getting a 1-to-1 on the fragments. You times this by 24, and you're going to get about 192,000 points towards the Coordinated Assault milestone. So that's from this part. Now, like I said, we don't know what the login calendar is worth. We could make a hypothetical value and see how that influences things, and I'll do that a little bit afterwards once we've kind of looked at the ISO 8 energy as well. So we get 2 points for ISO 8 energy campaign spending, 1 for the supply orb fragments. So this is basically the breakdown of your ISO 8 energy that you should be able to get. This is 360 energy is your daily time over the course of 24 hours. You do get the 3 refreshes every day, and that's 240 there, 80 times 3. You get 1 free ISO pack from your your objectives, your villains, I believe objective, and then you could do up to 3 more for 360, and then you get 50 now from the web milestone for spending cores. You add all, and that's new actually. So if you add all of this up together, that's 1,130 just from doing your either your packs or your 50 core refreshes. This is something that I recommend hoarding onto because I don't really have a reason to do this. So this stuff, make sure that you get to the 500 out of 500 cap. Maybe it's a bit too late for me to tell you this, but I think a lot of people who are kind of invested in ISO 8 energy milestones kind of know this by now, that it's best to do this to wait and save, because that's worth basically 10 refreshes, which is quite a bit. That's like 2.5 days worth of this stuff. So that's really nice to do. So that's 1,130 there, and that's the kind of the 50 core refresh threshold. So that's going to give you 2,260 daily points. Multiply this by 24 people. That's about 54k of daily points, and then you multiply it over 5 days, and you get about 271,000. So 271,000 plus the above of the 192. That gives you a subtotal without the login calendar of about 463,000. Where does that get you on the milestone? So that actually gets all of the Gems of Sidorak here, This is 380,000. It gets you pretty close to the 490,000. So I'm going to go out on a limb and assume that, maybe this is wrong to assume this part, but we'll find out, I guess, when the event goes live. I'm going to assume that the login calendar will get you to milestone 18, as long as you do all of the math that I was set out here. Now, just for sheer curiosity, and I always click the wrong buttons for my wrong tabs, what happens if we can put some hypothetical values in here? What about if we was just 2,000? I mean, I think it might be closer to like 2 orbs at least. I hope, right? If it's more than that, amazing. And maybe we will do a bit better. But let's just, for sake of argument. So 1 orb for the login calendar would be 48,000 points. So basically for every orb that we get in the login calendar, it's 48,000 points across the alliance. So let's just say it was, let's say they're being generous and we get 3 of these orbs. I don't know if that's going to be the case or not, but let's just say. And so that's 144,000. Now, that would bring us close to about basically 600k. So where is that then on the coordinated assault? That's actually milestone 19. So that's the best case scenario, I think, because you're not going to be getting this milestone 20, which gives you 6 Apocalypse Bounty Orbs and 150,000 Blue 4 Ions. This absolutely is going to be a whalestone. This could be 2. It depends on how generous they are with the login calendar. So if we get 3 orbs, you're probably going to get here. If it's 2 orbs, you won't, because you'll have to make it up with a lot of ISO 8 energy spending. That'll probably be a little bit more than your alliance wants to do, depending on how hardcore you are. If you're a hardcore alliance and you want to push those 100 core resets for your ISO 8 energy, all the power to you. I don't personally recommend doing this kind of stuff. And so if we're able to get milestone 19, that would be great. And, you know, I'll take back some of the, maybe the thumbnail text that I put on here, but otherwise it just feels that we're not really getting a lot of Blue 4 Ions if we just get milestone 18, and that's just 60k, because before I'm almost certain that we got in the realm of basically this, or maybe it was about 200,000, 250,000 or so Blue 4 Ions. It was at least 200k. Twice a month. And so it did feel a little bit better when we were getting it in the old way. But then, of course, like I said, we're either going to get 2 Apocalypse Bounty Orbs or 5, I suppose. And does that make up for the Blue 4 Ions? That's the question. Some of you may have already opened Apocalypse Bounty Orbs, or maybe saw me open it. Now, the left and the right pillar are pretty garbage, but it's the center pillar that matters. So the most common drop being 15,000 Blue 5 Ions, 30,000 Blue 5 Ions. Is there even any Blue 4s in here? There is some, actually. 25, 75k. Like, maybe, at least it's guaranteed to drop something of the Blue 4 or Blue 5 variety, but you're not really getting any good stuff until you get into this, like, top 17% category, which is, of course, possible. So then the question is, does this outweigh the rewards, the flat rewards that we would be getting in coordinated assault? That's the question. And I think I've already given my opinion when it comes to RNG based slot machine orbs. I don't really like it. So that's why I'm not a big fan of the Kid Loki event. Why? Because it's not flat shards in the milestones. It's relying on slot machine FOMO tactics, copium, whatever you want to call it, you know, to get good results. And I don't like this. I would prefer just to keep the old way, which was the 200k flat, rather than gambling. Some people are going to get some really good luck. You know, I got 1.5 million Blue 5 Ions. That's great. But I know that other people got nothing, or they got like 200k and it was kind of crap. So that's why I just don't like that disparity that happens, and why that we're moving towards this orbs. We're moving more and more towards orb-based slot machine tactics in events. And I just don't like this, but that's just me. You know, I just like to keep it fair to everyone, where, you know, if you want to buy these orbs, that's one thing. But in terms of free-to-play events and what we should expect, I just think that it should be more realistic. It should be more reliable. But hey, I could be crazy. You know, I always say this at the end of every video. Maybe I'm crazy, and maybe my thoughts aren't like everyone else's. But that's just my opinions. Anyways, that's going to be the end of this video. And of course, we're going to have the Bounty of Asgard tomorrow. So do keep in tune for that. Keep in tune. Keep watch for that. Make sure you hit the like button and the notification button to keep you updated as to the next videos coming out on this channel. So until next time, everybody, stay safe and healthy. And I'll see you all later. And I guess good luck on your orb openings, because there's going to be a lot of that going forward. So Boilon signing out.